Hi guys, Ryuu here from Blender Bros, and in this video we're gonna attack a problem that all of us struggle with, and that's how to get better at blockouts and creating cool models. Let's go. So the way I think about modeling is that, I want to create something that goes with my personality and the style I like. But naturally, we all look at references. And if you don't look at references, you're doing it wrong. There are so many sources of inspiration out there that it's just infinite. Whether it's games or ArtStation or internet in general, artists you like to follow, games you like to follow, movies you like to watch. And some stuff over there for sure is going to inspire you. So to simplify it, my visual library is massive. Okay, and I like sometimes either just log into Star Citizen or Mass Effect and just walk around and look at stuff. I don't even have to play, okay? To be honest, I rarely play games recently, but I log in to just look at stuff, okay? Just keep being immersed in this sci-fi genre because, that's what I like. When you want to model something, you usually get this block, this massive artistic block. That's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I want to make this one, but how do I start? Like, what's my first move? Too many thoughts at once. You need to simplify this process to a very specific, number of items, even one, okay, or two or three, and kind of look for elements that's going to inspire you, that's going to kind of trigger this kind of a momentum of modeling, okay? So it needs to be a shape, an idea, a detail, a style, concept, something outrageous, something that you're just gonna remember, something that's going to catch your eye or just grab you and like, hey, that's cool. So in this video, I want to show you how I model from a very simple reference. It's an example from one of the packs by Oleg Ushnok. I'm not an affiliate of Oleg's works, so if you want to go ahead and download his stuff, I'll leave a link in the video description to his ArtStation. He's creating fantastic kit bashes for mechanical parts, and they are a massive source of inspiration in terms of small interesting shapes, planar shifts, concepts, ideas, nook and crannies and all that. So we're gonna take this very simple shape and we're gonna model something that's a bit different, okay? And I'll show you how to kind of overcome this block of starting your modeling, okay? What I like about this piece is the overall kind of a shape. Like, there is a plane on the top and the plane isn't flat. It's kind of, there's a shape to it. And there are these kind of like diagonal sort of, well, let me just pull the blender here, it's going to be easier to see. They are like angled sort of, legs here that attach to the bottom, but the bottom could be slightly changed. I think you can do something different here. The top is a bit busy, so we can make it different as well. There's a lot of shapes that kind of, it's like squares, triangles, circles, everything is in here. So maybe we can make it a bit more simple and more calm. But the idea of this is pretty cool, and something like this, I wouldn't mind making. So let's grab this. So let's just close this file here, and let's grab this, puref file here for reference, so you can actually see that, because I don't need it, but it's just for you guys. So I'm gonna put it here really small, okay? Because we don't need it to be big, all right? Naturally, I'm going to be modeling with hard ups and box cutter because, that's the only way to go about it. If you're interested in grabbing these add-ons, links are in the video description. Also, if you are into Blender and you want to start your journey in Blender, but you don't know what to do, where to start, we have a fantastic free course for any beginners that will teach you how to use all the menus, how to get your head around Blender in a very simplified way, on a couple hours of, of content, but it's very condensed and it will really help you to start with Blender, help you to understand how it all works, help you to create your first model, render it. So you're going to learn the whole basic structure of hard surface modeling, and you should be good to go for a next level. And if you are a hard ops user, then we have a hard ops tutorial. It's a sci-fi terminal design with hard ups and box cutter. So if you're using hard ups and box cutter but you're not really proficient, then I suggest this one is also free. Both links are in the video descriptions. What we're gonna do here is we're going to grab our cube, because we can start with the cube. Just zoom in here with a period numpad and SZ to scale it. We're going to scale it a little bit here, and I'm gonna make this a little bit thinner. It's gonna look a bit more tasty like that. And I'm going to introduce some loops here with Ctrl R, Ctrl B to split that, and SX to kind of, make it a bit more wide here in the middle. We don't have to follow the shape here, the exact one. In fact, it's better if you don't. It's better if you introduce, you know, your own spin to it and kind of, like I said, get inspired by a certain element that you like or certain vibe or style, but try to create something that it's not copying off someone's work, because that's not gonna teach you anything, okay? Getting inspired and copying someone's work are two different things. All right, so we're gonna apply scale, so Control I apply scale, so we can start beveling this. I want to introduce one more loop here and maybe scale it on X to do something like that. Then we can combine these into one object, Alt X with Mesh Machine to mirror this. If you're not using Mesh Machine, then you can use hard ups, you know, again, Alt X, press D, symmetry and symmetrize. And if you're not using hard ups, which is something that you should rectify, you can go here to mesh and symmetrize, okay? So anyway, symmetrize it, and we're gonna symmetrize it here as well to the right side. And I'm going to remove this, these two loops because I don't need them. It's gonna be easier to select these edges here. And we're gonna bevel them. On the bottom here, you can see number of segments. I think 8 will do, like that, mirror here. And also we're going to bevel this one with 10, and we're going to mirror it here and mirror it over there, so it's kind of, you know, mirrored all over, right? Let's one sharpen for the auto smooth to kick in, and now we're talking. Now what I would like to do is create some cuts here. I'm gonna go with box cuts, so I'm gonna create a box cut in here that's going to sort of, you know, echo this this shape here, this kind of like a convex area. And here I'm going to create another cut like this, and I'm going to mirror it holding shift to left and over there, right? Then we're going to cut it from here to create a nice opening in the middle like this. We could even bevel this in here as well. So cut it through. Then we're going to recover the cutter with F scroll, and we're going to cut it from the top. And I think I'm going to cut it in here as well, and then mirror the cutter to the other side, and we're going to get something like this. So like easy peasy, we're creating something that kind of resembles this, but it's not really the same. It's different. Here in the middle, for example, we could go a little bit more crazy and run a circle, a cut here in the middle. Hold shift and see how many verts you have. We have 50, which is cool. Let's cut it through, and we're going to get this kind of a nice sort of a cut through effect here, which is pretty cool. At this stage, probably I would recommend to save it because you don't want to lose your progress, right? So let's save it. I'm gonna call it hard surface doodle. I think it's 17 already or something. I don't know, created so many recently. I'm enjoying doing it, so save it. I'm gonna use power save because it's a great add-on. All links to my add-ons are in the video description. In this stage, what we can do is actually introduce some more loops here to this cutter. So we're going to have more support here. So we could introduce a loop here on the top to secure that, introduce a loop here in the bottom, and maybe introduce, you know, 2 loops here in the middle, okay? Because when you create loops in a cutter, when you apply that cutter, these loops are going to be transferred to the mesh. So if I'm going to go multiply, you see I got these loops transferred to my mesh, okay? This one is not really needed. We can remove it and mirror to the other side, and we're good to go, okay? Cool. So we have, you know, some support here later if you want to run some chamfers. This is going to help us out, all right? Cool. So now, you know, we want some support on the bottom, so we could do this with a cube. We could just run a cube here, scale it. Let's go to the bottom here and place a cube in here. We could also cut it with this circle. So what we could do is extend it here. So GX, extend it here, and actually extend it here like this, right? So here what we can do is Alt H and Shift 2, grab this cutter, select this cube, go to Loco, and make this bigger, and simply cut it, difference, right? And then we can make this larger to cut it deeper, okay? Something like that, and we can bevel this corner here, like this, okay? So it's kind of going to, you know, echo all these round bits here around this sheet. And this could be either poking through like this, maybe even. This is actually quite interesting. So what we could do here is sharpen this, then you know, shift select this shape, and we could union that. And we could mirror this to all the other sides to create something like this. And we're getting now kind of like a support for whatever would be coming in the middle. But we could also run some, you know, some support here to the bottom. So from this structure here, we could grab a cube and we could run something like this here. Okay. Press J and E and extrude it down. Right. Just click. And maybe even we could rotate this by 90 degrees and do something like this actually. Maybe this would be better. So I'll put it somewhere here. I can't see the shape, so I'm gonna put the bevel temporarily here. So I can see the outline. Put it somewhere here maybe and make it larger. Okay. Put it somewhere here, right? Okay, cool. And we could bend it, you know. So what we could do is run a loop here. Grab this, right, on the bottom, and G and Y, and move it in here. And then you could grab this edge here around and bevel it, okay, like this. You're gonna get this kind of a, you know, sort of a bend shape here, right? So let's switch this to another side. Oh, it's here, okay. Let's turn it around on Z-axis by 180, and there you go. So now we got this going on. We could actually combine them together, right? So grab this cutter here, select this face, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate it. So Control R with machine tools, and you can download machine tools for free, and you can also learn how to use it. I have a video that actually teaches that, in fact 2 videos, so why don't you watch that. So here we're going to remove these 2 edges, right? So we can bevel this easily, alright? Because I want this to be beveled like this, okay? So you got this kind of interesting shape here, you know, sort of like a support for this whatever it is, this structure. Here in the middle we could create additional cuts, so I have a scroll, and let's go to the back to the rear view, and we could, you know, we could create this kind of a situation, which could be interesting, right? So it's thinner on the top and kind of wider on the bottom. And here we could introduce, you know, the bevel. So we could bevel this like that. And when we're going to apply that, so sharpen, we can actually bevel this one as well, okay? So here we got some problem with verts. There we go. So in this case, what I would do, I'll dissolve this edge and then bevel this one like this, okay? So limitation of poly modeling, basically, guys, you know. Sometimes you need to remove stuff to make it work. Here in the bottom, this is a little bit thick. So what we could do is we could actually make it lighter by creating an opening here, okay? This is visually gonna make it lighter, right? So either one of them, which is gonna be sort of mimicking what's happening on the top, or several of them, you know. There we go. That looks a little bit better, in my opinion. So we got that going on. Here the same, we could make this entire structure lighter by running, you know, an opening here like this. Move it somewhere here and cut. There we go. Let's recover this and fix this bevel a little bit because it's kind of insane. There we go. That's better. You can mirror to the other side, and you got something like this. So the shape looks lighter because you removed a lot of, you know, geometry from it. But at the same time, you know, it's kind of a structurally sound. Here in the bottom, we could introduce, you know, some maybe screws or whatnot. So kind of like holes here, one here and one on the other side. So I have a scroll, Shift D and Y, and move it in here, and, you know, difference. And then we can just mirror to the other side like that, okay? So I could screw it through, you know, and actually, you know what? We could introduce one more here, just in the middle, like that. And if you want to maintain the same size, what you can do is ever scroll this, right? Go to the bottom view like this, and go to the edit mode, select everything, Shift D, and move it in here. So you will maintain the size of this cutter, right? The bevel is too big, so we're gonna make it smaller because it's insane. We don't need that kind of a big bevel. This is a metallic part, So you need to, the bevel needs to be kind of thin, because remember, metal is, is sharp edges usually, unless you bevel it manually. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna add chamfers, and chamfers are very important for creating highlights and breaking surfaces. Because chamfers, what they're gonna do, they're gonna create surface breakages, which are very important. Here, these could be rounded, to be honest, like that. And we could have some, some holes here as well. So somewhere here, you could have something like this. We could grab this cutter and play with it a little bit. So scale it, extrude it, scale it a bit more, chamfer it, okay? Not bevel it, chamfer it. There we go. Then go to occlude with machine tools and inset it and extrude it. And you're gonna get a nice cool cutter here in the corner, which is gonna get mirrored to all sides, right? So mirror, boom. And there you go. Now this one this one is a bit problematic here in the middle. We need to actually fix that. So let's recover this cutter here in the middle. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to move it. So select this one, Control L, P and selection, right? And then we're going to select just this one, and we're gonna move it to the middle here, okay? So we need to move it between these two edges here. So between this edge and this edge, okay? So let's move a cursor here. So cursor to an edge, and then we're gonna move this one to the cursor, right? Which for some reason didn't work. Shift S and to geometry. Let's move the origin point back here and to the cursor. There we go. And that's in the middle now, okay? So when I cut that, and the mirror should kick in properly. There we go. So be careful when you're cutting something, like that. Here we can introduce bevels, because if you do that, the chamfer is gonna look better going around. And don't make it too thin, because when you run chamfer, you may get some overshooting. Click, Alt click. If it selects everything, go here and select loops only. That's mesh machine selection, which is very powerful. I suggest you guys look into that. It's an extremely powerful tool for cutting stuff, and selecting stuff. Here in the middle, we could have another selection like this, and chamfer, and the same here. We could have chamfers. And if you get this loop sliding going on, just simply go here in the bottom and turn off loop sliding. And chamfers technically should be run everywhere, okay? So if you get the situation like this here, I would bevel this first, right? And then bevel this, right? Okay. And then run a chamfer here, right? So click here on the chamfer. And don't make it too large. This could be just small chamfer, like this, right? Boom, see what I mean? Here the same, we're gonna select this and select that. We're gonna bevel this, right? And then click, Alt click, and click here, and chamfer it, right? Here in the bottom, the same thing. I got a little bit of a problem here. You can see that two bevels are intersecting. That's really easy to fix, guys. All you need to do is run some loops here, like that, and this is gonna most likely fix the shading problem. Sharpen this, and then what you can do is run a mark sharp here, and this is gonna get copied to all the sides. And we could try run the chamfer here as well, a small one, not a big one, chamfer, and you're gonna get some loop sliding here. You could actually enable, disable. You can see what's up. You could actually fix the topology here just a little bit. We could remove this rubbish, or actually even run it up here. And I think this is going to solve a lot of problems. Here we could run it like that, instead of this. This one could be combined. This one could be combined, right? And this is going to fix our problems. Now we can run a chamfer here, even small one, and it's gonna look clean. And this problem here, this shading pulls, right? You see that here? When I create a chamfer, right? I got this. Let me just create a chamfer here quickly. I got these pulls here on the side here. You could turn off and on loop slide and see what's better. Maybe without loop slide is better, but I still got some shading problems. So what you can do is you can run a knife here like this, right? And just run a knife here near the edge here, like that. And select this edge here, and GG and E and F, and adjust it to this edge here, move it close to fix the shading, and let's fix this double vert here. And and this is gonna look a little bit better. There's still some problem here. This could be caused by bevel not catching the edge, and if that happens to you, like there's no bevel here, see what you can do is change bevel to weight. Okay, and this is gonna fix it as long as you have a bevel weight running on this. And if you go to hard up settings, here you can set automatic under control tilde menu. You can set up what the mark sharp introduces to your edge. In my case, is crease, B weight, and sharp. So when I click on sharpen, all these three attributes are being assigned. Now be careful with weighted bevel with hard ups, because occasionally what it might do when you apply smart apply, might actually apply bevel to your geo. You don't want that, so be careful here too. We could just run either a regular the chamfer and just fix it manually, or you could run the offset cut as well. Careful here, don't move the supporting beams. By supporting beams, I mean these edges which support the circle inside, and these support the curvature here. So what you want to do is you want to move these edges here in the middle, because they don't support much. I mean this curvature here is not as important, okay? So you might want to move these like that, it's gonna be a bit better, right? So there you go here. Another thing what you can do is you can actually remove all these edges here. I mean most of them, okay, because they don't contribute to anything, right? So you could just technically get rid of them right here, dissolve, okay, and then you're gonna have less headache. You could also do that with hard ups. You could run the cleanup with hard ups, which is under Q operations clean mesh. It's gonna also help you with that. Here outside, the same situation. We need some chamfers here, so I'm gonna run a chamfer here. We could use some chamfers here outside as well. This is gonna produce a really nice kind of here, right? So here, and this is gonna select the whole loop, which is something we may not want actually. So click here, and it's gonna select one edge which we're gonna chamfer, and then this one, and again click here and chamfer, and then in the middle here, so click, alt click, and click here and chamfer a little bit, right, and here too, so click, alt click, and click here and chamfer. So you see, like, you got these chamfered edges here, and they add a lot of, they're gonna be catching a lot of highlights, okay, on your mesh, and it's really important because it will help you with mesh readability, okay? So the mesh is gonna be read stronger in renders, because light's gonna reflect from these edges, right? This is gonna be tricky to run here with these edges like that, but we can try. There we go. And you might want to clean that with clean mesh here. So operations clean mesh, right? And that did it. So recalculate sharpens, and now we can run chamfer here. So like that, and chamfer, and boom, right? And you can then have chamfers here and here in the entire structure. Here too, we could have a chamfer, and it's gonna get mirrored to the other side. If it doesn't, just simply copy to the other side here too, to the other side to the left. And this is it, guys. I mean, now you can see that it kind of is following the idea of the shape, but it's somewhat different, right? It has a different structure to the middle, to the sides. The overall shape is a bit different, but the concept is similar, because it's a plate with some kind of a supported screwable in the bottom, but it looks simply like a different piece. But we took an idea from this piece and created something unique on our own. So this is how, I would suggest you work with references, because like I said, repeating what other people did will never, teach you anything valuable in terms of modeling skills. You really need to push your brain, out there and make yourself work harder. This one could be actually larger bevel just for kicks and giggles, although maybe it's gonna be too loud in terms of overall structure. Maybe it should be just, kind of toned down as well. Kind of like that, it should be fine. If you want to remove some bevel, like for example, this one is larger than this, and if you want to remove it, just alt click here, go to Y with mesh machine and simply unbevel or unchamfer, and you can just redo it again. This is power of mesh machine and add-ons. This is why we always advocate you guys use add-ons. They're so important because they will save you a shit ton of time. Here too, we could have a chamfer as well. Forgot about that. Here too, chamfer as well, right? So chamfer as well, and then we're going to mirror it here and mirror it there. And literally every edge, almost every edge is chamfered, and it's really powerful. It's going to help with rendering. So now when I'm going to apply a matte to it, just a regular BSDF matte, and go to my viewport and drop some plane here. I'm adding matte with hard ups by pressing Alt M and adding blank matte. And you will see that how these chamfers are actually reflecting light, and you can clearly see that there's a darker area here, brighter and darker, so there's a planar shift, and this planar shift is going to help you to create like a way more powerful sort of accent to your mesh, as opposed to if it was just the plain mesh. Here too, for instance, what you could do, since it's a round mesh, you could, instead of chamfering this, you could create bevel just for just to create kind of like a transition, or you could just go with a chamfer. I mean, it's up to you, right? You could create something like this as well. This is quite strong. I think maybe bevel's gonna be better here, kind of like this, to create this kind of like highlight, and you could mirror it to both sides, and Bob Janko, right? So there you go, guys. That's how I would suggest you work, and that's how you're definitely gonna get better. Gather as many references as possible. Now, if you would like some help with rendering, composition, lighting, framing, and compositing, check our Render University course, which is massive, and it will teach any visual artist out there, because it's not just for Blender users, but it's for visual artists to just help you guys with these 4 topics. And the goal is to create better portfolios so we can all get clients and start selling our works, because there's nothing better than making money with what you really enjoy. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.